Klever Swap is a decentralized way to trade your crypto right in the palm of your hand. Seamlessly exchange coins multi-chain with privacy, low fees, and unrivaled speed. You own your keys. In today's world of crypto, Klever Swap is simply magic at the click of a button. Welcome, friends all around the world, to the 26th episode of Klever Live, where we take you deeper on a fantastic journey into the world of blockchain, Bitcoin, crypto, and the Klever ecosystem, which is soon to have an absolute ignition of rocket fire as we are 26 days away from mainnet launch of Klever blockchain. So get ready, like, share, subscribe to the channel, click that bell button to stay updated, and make sure to share it with your friends and family, of course. Today, we will discuss in detail the Klever Chain testnet, validators on Klever blockchain, and get a very cool, exciting live demo on how to create and set up a validators node on Klever blockchain mainnet. To help us understand this in depth, we have two eminent guests who have been leading the race among validators on the testnet. One of them is none other than my close friend, the Flying Dutchman, and our head of support, Mathijs Bok. And the other one is the highly skilled validators ringleader and support agent, Maik Ladwig. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Misha. Amazing
Thanks,
to be
Misha.
here.
Welcome. Hello.
Yes. Hello. Welcome, guys.
I always kept it away to be on the live, but today is the day that it has to be the day.
It is. I've been trying to get Matthias on this show. He's always there with Warren in the back stage helping out on the technical side. But finally, we have Matthias here. And of course, we have Mike here, who might be coming back hopefully soon. There he is, to make sure that everyone understands how to set up a node, what the requirements are, and how the testnet phase have been, and of course, how we are moving in to the mainnet. But before we begin, let's get to know you two a little bit better. Mike, let's start with you and then go over to Matthias. Tell us a little bit more about yourselves, your origin, your background, and of course, your Klever journey.
Yeah, I'm Mike. I'm 42 and I'm from Germany. I am from the east side of Germany. So I've got in contact with new technologies really early. You know, in the east part of the Germany, we had a lot to build ourselves as we didn't have that much. So my grandpa bring me some electronic stuff for hobbies and something like this. So later, after Germany got united, I followed the path a little further. The internet started 1990s for me as I bought my first modem. And I've tried whatever I could get at the internet, at applications, and I've learned a lot about it. I was very active at the Linux community around the 2000s, and we had a lot of chats and at the IRC at the time. Nowadays we have WhatsApp and Telegram and whatever, but during the time we had the IRC, and we had a huge community. We tried a lot of new things. We set up new applications. We created application packages so you can easily install it at the SUSE Linux, for example, or something like that. And yeah, so that was a time where I've learned really a lot about technology, about whatever is needed to run a computer and applications on it. Yeah, I followed all the news out there. I've built always my own computer, and I've tried to learn several times several languages for programming, like C++. I've started with assembler and whatever, but that's my biggest regret for sure, as I never did the full learning. I've started with whatever languages, PHP and so on, but I never learned the full thing. So for me, it's the learning from it is I can easily read a script. If I get a source code and I see the file of the source code, I can understand what the programmer wanted to get with this application. So it's either way, I can't program it, but I can read it. So it's helpful for sure, especially nowadays. Yeah, my crypto journey started around 2017, 2018, like a lot of us. And yeah, for sure, I had a big loss on the paper, but only on the paper. As you must learn, if you sell, you make a loss. If you don't sell, you have the chance, if you buy later for less money, more you can make more profits. So that was my learning during that period, and it was a successful learning. Especially, I've learned a lot about other blockchains. I've started, especially with Tron, like a lot of us. Tron has a great technology. I've read whatever. I've learned about other blockchains as well. And so I built my basics of knowledge, what I can use today. And yeah, someone around, let's say, 1.5 years, I've got more in contact with Klever. Nowadays, it was mentioned as Tron Wallet. Now it's Klever. I was active at Telegram, and Matthias one day asked me if I want to do to be an admin at Telegram German group. Yeah, I said yes. I've started. Next step was the translation of the wallet application to German. So I've started to translate it in German, and so came one step after the other step. At the end, I've written some articles about the exchange for the support.klever.io website. So you have some basics, how the exchange is working, the application, the website. And yeah, we have an amazing team. It's a Klever support, and yeah, was an amazing journey so far. And the last step for sure was to start with the testnet validation program. So yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you very much, Maik, for that in-depth background, and as well your Klever journey. And of course, when it comes to testnet, we will get into that very shortly. But Matthias, most people know you, but please do share with us your origins, your background, and of course, your Klever journey, when it began.
Yeah. The most people know me as the head of support, indeed. But my school background is more also in the technical part. I did small electronics school learnings. I have my diploma also in small electronics. From school, I did working in coffee machine business in technical support, and from after 6 years, I was asked to work in a signing branch. You have to see that like wrapping cars, trucks, various of advertising items like billboards, blinding windows of cars, etc. All that is connected to the signing branch. And during that job, same as Maik, 2016, 17, I went into crypto. It attracted me because in my child days, my parents were always in stocks, and that attracted me then already. And when I still was at home, I had my own stock account from my 18, and I play with some money in stocks, and my knowledge didn't disappear. And then came crypto in my life, and in crypto, I lost some, I sold some. Like Maik saying, when you sell, then you lose or you win. As long as you don't sell, or then you don't lose anything, only on paper. But yeah, for the crypto that I had, I was finding or searching more a nice wallet. I like apps that are visualizing also in the best, and then became Tron Wallet in my journey. And because I like the app very much, I was in contact with Dio and asked Dio to see if there was an open position to help some support for other users of the app to, let's say, to help them to set up the app, to make it easier for them that I already have done. And Yeah, the years followed and years followed, and I had more tasks on my list to do in Telegram. Then we became multinational in languages. So we didn't have only the English channel anymore, but as much as possible other languages. And that is now became 20 plus local language channels that we have. And that grew out more also in translating the app in the multi-language. And that created my position in Klever eventually, because we became from Tron Wallet to Klever. And the reason that I kept with Klever is that I like the progression of the whole ecosystem. In first, it was only the wallet, but then we had the exchange that was coming in. We had multiple versions of the wallet. And then I get the option to work full time for Klever, what I already did beside my other job, because I came home, I went to dinner with my wife, and after the dinner I said bye bye, I go to up, and then I was working for Klever all the time. So yeah, eventually there was no way back anymore after punching me every time, when full time, when full time, when full time. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm very
so
sorry for that. I might
no,
take
no,
some
no.
responsibility for it, but I'm very happy that you are full time and you are an essential part of it. Yeah, please do continue.
Yeah, so yeah, now it's now September 2020. I was official full time for Klever, but as the most know, I was already now, let's say, 5.5 years in Tron Wallet / Klever. So yeah, still my journey is going on in still head of support. I'm helping also the marketing team with small tasks, not like Warren is doing. And yeah, Clever Chain. And I like Clever Chain, and I want to have a node. So then I have expanded my knowledge together with Maik. Maik helped me a lot also. And yeah, I've expanded my reach in Clever to get more knowing of it. So I have 2 nodes ready to run and to rumble. So let's kick some ass with the Clever Chain.
Let's get ready to rumble. Thank you,
Yeah.
Matthias. Yeah, you two have clearly been driving factors, especially not just on setting up nodes and how to do it, but also support for validators through Discord and other channels. So, how has the Clever Chain testnet progressed in your experience, Mike? How is the performance, speed, scalability, ease of use? How do you see that?
Yeah, we have for sure a really great progress with the testnet. The first versions we bring live and started, they were running, but they were not that stable. We had some issues, especially we sent nearly from the beginning some transactions to get a pool filled. And yeah, we had really the situations that the node itself stopped running. We sent all the logs to the development team. They checked the logs and they find the errors really fast. They fixed it. And most time already sent 1 day later the next update of the testnet and a new configuration. So we started really fast over. We started to run more and more tests, and the devs now running really huge pools of transactions each day, and the testnet is really stable. We have no real issues, but we can see that you need a lot of performance on the server to run the node itself stable. So you need a little bit power at your machine to run it. But the testnet is really a success, and you can see the improvement from the first versions up to the versions where we are now. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun because Mike had created a script to send transactions from address A to address B. So as soon as we were both validated, selected, we send out a transaction to each other with almost 50 transactions per second to each other. So it was almost 100 transactions per second pumping in the testnet. And that created indeed in the first steps some issues because heavy loads, pools were not cleared, etc. But during the progression, team fixed all the issues and found all the bugs. And yeah, we are now running a lot of time already very stable. Team is sending almost 200 transactions per block now to test all the nodes that we have available in the testnet. So yeah, it's great improved. It's very stable, and yeah, I'm happy.
Fantastic. And that was your personal experience with the testnet and with the validators kind of community that you've created. But Maik, something that we've been looking forward to very much over the past week is a live demo on how to set up a node and how a node functions and work. Please take us through everything that you can show us to make sure not only the validators community know, but also our users. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so let me share how we do a setup of a validator. It's really easy. Klever created an amazing documentation you can find at docs.klever.finance. And the first thing you will see once you go to the system requirements, you have to have a little bit of performance as minimum already. You need a machine with at least 4 cores. You need at least 8 GB of memory. If possible, hard disk with SSD of 200 GB and at least a connection of 100 megabyte. But already, as mentioned, it's really a minimum. I would prefer to go with a bigger machine with a little bit more power, especially if you think about the growth of the blockchain later, where we have to run lots of applications. So the system needs a bit more of power. So it's good from my side, like run, let's say, with 8 cores, with 32 gigabyte or at least 16 gigabyte. And it's not really must be an SSD. It can be a hard disk, a normal hard disk, but it must be fast. Let's say you have 2 hard disks running together, so you get a little bit more of speed if you run it as RAID. That would be the mandatory of the hardware side, if you think about to run a node. The next thing is you can't run the node itself directly under Windows. It's running as a Unix system, so it's good to have a machine with a Linux system. From my side, I prefer Debian as it is more stable than Ubuntu, especially I've running some servers for other things at data centers, and my experience with Ubuntu wasn't that good. So whoever asked me, I say use Debian. It's stable, it's fast, and it's better to run at the data center. The next thing, once you have the Linux system running, you need to have to install the Docker. Docker is an application to run virtual images, virtual systems within a host machine. That's you have to install it, you have to prepare it, that it will be useful for everything. That's already everything you need to get your machine prepared.
Before we continue, Maik, we do have a quick question from the community. Alexander Kaufman is asking, is there a M2 disk possible for running?
The M2 disks normally are SSDs, and M2s are really fast. If you buy a M.2 SSD nowadays, they have at least 1,500 megabit per second or 3,000. So you are good prepared from side of the memory. Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. The next is already just start a shell. In this case, I've opened a bash shell, and you can already start to pull the latest image of the validator application. So you copy the
I think we might have a little bit of audio problem, Maik. Let's see. Perhaps the load got too heavy on the screen share. Let's try it again.
I'm back. You can see me here.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so just copy the command. It's the first command on the requirements. You have the short symbol. Just click it, and you can copy the command, paste it into the console, and press enter. And I will do it. You see, if you don't have the actual image, the system loads now all the components you need to run the container later, the image with the application of the validator. In that case, we already have the latest application. That's why we just see those 4 lines.
Before we continue, we also have another community question. I think it's quite applicable from Alive and Rising. What is a node? And by doing this is to help stake a KLV. So perhaps, let's see if we can answer that quickly.
The node is, let's say, it's an application which connects the whole blockchain network to each other and which retrieves all the transactions which you send to the blockchains. The validator is a machine which validates the blocks, so it checks if it is correct what you are doing and confirms if the blocks are okay. And the nodes are, you can run always a node. You don't have to have enough KLV to run a node. You can always run a node. And each node supports the blockchain and stability, as we can, let's say, we can spread the transactions to
once again, something with the audio, Mike.
Then just answer a little bit the question.
All right, let's continue.
Okay, so let's go further. The next step is to create a wallet. The first thing, we need a directory where we have to store the wallet file later on. So you create just a directory at your folder where you are. And now you need to create the wallet itself. Just go with the next command. You can copy it again, copy it, paste it into the console, the shell, and press enter. Just some seconds later, you see we now have here our CleverNet blockchain wallet address already created. That's all. We don't have any error messages. It's fine. So we are already prepared. Okay. I will just send this address to Mathijs so we can do the next steps later.
Okay. Awesome. I will send you the funds.
You have created the wallet. The thing is, the wallet is not yet activated. Let me show. We have the testnet Explorer where you can check all the transactions on the blockchain. If I now copy the address we have just created, okay, we put it in. You will see we get an error page. That happened as we not have any KLV at the moment at the wallet, and the wallet is not yet activated. That's why we get a page not found error. It's like let's say you want to open a news site, and the news site don't have the website anymore, you get the same error. And the same as if you don't have the address, you get an error.
You have the funds, mate. 1.7 million.
Next step will be, you can validate your address if you go with this command. If you are unsure, especially if you close the shell and you want to get your wallet address later, you can run the next command at the screen. We don't need it now as we still have the shell and we can see the wallet address. Just go to the next step of the documentation. Now we have to create a special directory where we store all the really needed parts of the blockchain data. We have a directory for the configuration. We have a directory for the database where we store all the information about the blocks. And there will be a log subfolder where we store all the parts later on. Just copy it again to the shell, press enter, and it's already created. The next thing really it's needed as you need the configuration, how the blockchain is running. You need the config file. In that file, you have all the details, how the nodes have to connect to each other and whatever is needed to run the blockchain stable. Just copy it like it is. Don't modify it. Add it to the shell, press enter. You see it is downloading and it's already ready. It's a really small file and will be put directly to the node directory we have created before. The next thing, we need a unique key for our machine. It's a key.
Mike, I think sometimes your audio goes out because your video is on as well as sharing. So perhaps as you share the screen, Mike, take away the video. Is that possible? Let's see if that works.
Yeah, it's personal video.
If you take away the personal video, right underneath the screen, there's a mute button and a video button.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's see that.
Let's see if it is more stable. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
The next thing is you need a unique key. It's a BLS key. The BLS key is like the address of your home. If you want to visit your parents, you need to know in which streets they are housing, and you need to know at which apartment you want to go into. So you create a unique key for your validator so that the blockchain knows where to go. Just copy this command, put it into the shell, press enter, and you will see the key generator creates a special key. You don't see the key itself at this moment, you just see the confirmations that the files are created. That's fine at this moment, we don't need it in detail yet. Before we start the node, and we don't want to do a sync of all the blocks which are already created, and we have a lot of blocks already running, we have over 200 Ks at the moment, we can retrieve the already created blocks so that synchronization will be a bit faster later on. So just copy the next command, and the system retrieves now all informations up to one of the last blocks. So the next start of the validator will be definitely faster. You see it's a little bit bigger, this file. As long as the blockchain runs.
Yeah, you are always one block behind with the backup. One epoch, sorry.
As long as it needs to load as the validator itself. That's all the mandatory basic steps. The next step already is to run the node. Just copy the command, what you can find now. In that command, you can find that all the directories we have created are linked to it, and they're getting loaded during the start of the node. Okay, so let me start the node so that you can see how it looks like. Urgent to know, at this point, you should have set up your firewall already to open the port 8080. To open this port is really needed, as all the validators have to speak from one to each other and to share all the details which are needed on the blockchain. So ensure to open the port 8080 at your firewall. At the moment, you see it takes a little bit longer, as node during the starts now needs to find the already running nodes to the blockchain. And here we are, the node is open. We see at the moment we have a basic general name that's generated for the node which is running. We see a public key block sign. This is already the BLS key, which we later need. We can see that the status of this node at the moment is at the sync modus. So it's reading all of the blocks which are needed until we are synced with the whole network. You can see the consensus slot here. There is a short difference, and all this difference now gets loaded over the network. That is what you can see on the upper part. It's running at the moment and will take some moments, but it's really fast. You can see the blocks. Don't get nervous about the time. You see it decreases really fast. It normally takes just 2 or 3 minutes.
A few minutes indeed.
On the right side, you can see a little bit about your system. You see the CPU load. You can see the memory load of your machine. And once we are synced, we can see the epoch info. The epoch is the time between the switch from one node validator to the another validator. Don't want to go in details now, but this describes at the moment as a testnet, we have a 10-minute interval to switch between the nodes, between the validators. Later on the mainnet, the time frame will be way longer, around 6 hours at the beginning. But this can change later on during proposal, and the KFI holder can vote for it if you want to change something like the time for the epoch, for example. So, okay, let's see until it's in sync.
Yeah, and in the meantime that it is syncing, I think you can already create the validator part of the node
Okay, let's run at the background during the sync time.
Yeah.
The next are some details on the website so that you understand what the specific commands are of the long command we have before. And once you are ready, you can see we have a screenshot how it should like. It's exactly the same like we have now created ourselves. You can run the node itself at the background if you don't want to have this UI. So UI is good to see directly at the shell what is running, but you can the validator always run at the background.
Yeah, you can run it in the background when you are using the screen method.
So we are running the node. It's the next step will be at the moment at the testnet the 4C, as you need some tKLV to run. If later on the mainnet you already have your KLV at your wallet and you have to use your wallet as we are at the testnet, you need some test token, and you can get these test tokens through the form we have provided over on our website. If you want to participate at the testnet, just fill in the form after you have created your wallet address that we know to which address we have to send some of the testnet token, so you can start once they are there. The next steps we just can run after the node is in sync. Now you can see we have status synchronized. So the node is now fully synced with the blockchain, in this case the testnet, and we are prepared for the next step. The next step will be to create the validator. We want to register the validator, and you see the command is quite long. We have to change some of it. So let me copy it to a text editor. It will be a bit easier to edit. So I would prefer you do it as well. So the first thing, we must change the address, the wallet address of the validator. Just remove it from the file you have copied. You have it still at the console, at the shell, and copy it into the part. I go directly to the rewards part. You have to decide to which wallet address you want to get the rewards you're getting for the nodes. You can use exactly the same like you used to create the validator, but if you want it to another wallet address, just put it in at this place. You want it to the same, so let me copy the created wallet address, put it in. You also have to change the BLS key. As already mentioned, this is a unique key you need to run your validator, so it's known as the blockchain. So let me remove the sample from the website, and you can get it via the shell. Just get the details out of the file which we have created for the validator. You see, we have the validator created in node directory with the config subdirectory. And during the command we have from the creating of the node, we're getting a file, it's named validator key PEM. And inside this validator key PEM, the BLS key is stored. Just do a cat of this part and you will see a long code. Just copy the private key. You can copy this one, but without the dash behind. So just let me copy this, put it in here. So it's in. The next thing, you must think about how you want to name your validator later on. You can find whatever unique name you want to have. So let's check. Klever demo live will be our validator name.
Excellent.
You can
indeed
put your own logo for your validator. So that is a little bit unique. If you open the Explorer, I will show you what it is meant. Let me open it. Let us see. Here you can see we have a unique logo of the validator. This is what you can put exactly to the file in here. We let it stay as we don't have a logo at the moment, so it's good for us. You also have to decide how much of the rewards you want to keep for yourself. That's the commission. We have a sample here now for 5% of the rewards, which will keep yourself. So 95% will go to the community, which is later voting for your node. You can change it to whatever. You can do 100% if you don't want to share the rewards with your community. But think about if they vote for you, give them some rewards. It's a good thing. You also can decide how much delegations you want to have later on your node. If you want the node just to run the validator for yourself, the minimum to run a validator are 10 million KLV. So you can put 10 million here and you delegate yourself 10 million, so no one else at the community can delegate to your node. If you want the community to delegate to your node, just put a way higher amount. At the moment, we have 12 millions at the testnet. We can go with, let's say, 120 million. So we can catch some of the users which can delegate to us some KLV later on. And you also have the chance to put some details like a website to the validator itself. That's the URIS line. You can change it. I will show you at the Explorer how it looks like. You see this validator have changed it to the name website and put the website link behind. So just modify it as you need it and you are fine. So we let it stay. We have modified everything and let me copy and see if I did a mistake or if it is fine. So I run it. Looks good. It's broadcasted to the network. So let's see if we already can see something at the validators list as we have created the validator. Let's see how fast it pop up. Should be at the end of the site, but can take some moments until we see it. Yeah,
you need to freeze first your 1.5 million.
And here, okay. So let's stay with it at the moment. Once it is prepared, you can see it at the validator list, but it takes a moment to be visible. So we have now successfully created the validator. The validator itself is online. But to be run really at the blockchain, we now have to put it activated. You have to freeze some of your amounts. The minimum amount to activate the validator are 1.5 million KLV. And you have to keep in mind that you need a fee to create the validator as valid. The fee will be around 100K of KLV at the moment once you create it. So you need at least 1.6 million KLV to start with your validator to be active. So just copy the command and let's see how much we have. Let's go with 100. So we have now 1 million and let's do 500,500. It's a nice amount and let's run it. So we are now, you see it gets broadcasted to the network. Let's see if we can now run it.
Yeah, it's there. No, you need to delegate first. But I think Mike is not hearing us.
It's not yet visible. It takes some moments to be visible at the network. It's not a problem. But we already can see it is successful as we have everything in green. If there's any error, you get a red line. Okay. So the next thing you have to delegate whatever you have created, you need to modify the next command as well. So let me copy it to the editor Just make another window open. Put the wallet address in you have used for your validator creation, and you need a bucket ID. The bucket ID is it's something where you collect all the rewards and whatever gets created in the blockchain, where you summarize it, where you get it later from. You can, let's see, you can get the bucket ID easily. We have a command at the end of the site. Just copy it here. Remove the sample transaction ID and use the transaction ID from before. Put it in, press enter, and you see a lot of things. And here you see we have the bucket ID. Just copy the bucket ID in full, add it to the script. And now we are prepared, going back to the shell and creating it. It's successful as well. So we are now well prepared. We have delegated whatever we have, and the node is running so far. Let's see if it is now already available. Let's explore. Should be in the meantime there. Looks like we have. Here we have Klever demo live. Here is our validator. Let's open it. You can see it's there. We have activated for delegation. That's what we have defined. Maximum of 220 million of KLV can be delegated through the community to this node. And our minimum stake will be 1.5 million KLV. So we are now a validator at the blockchain, but we are not already ready to be a validator. As the minimum to be a validator will be 10 million as delegation at the validator. So I hope Mathijs is now delegating the difference of 8.5 million. Let's see.
Yeah, just refresh your page. I have just delegated 8.5 million
we
to
are
you.
Inactive. Let me refresh if we can see it. Okay, perfect. Now you see we have a stake balance of 10 million, and it takes some moments until the epoch most likely is finished, until we can see it going from inactive to waiting status, or to, let's go back to the
goes to illegal
list.
Yeah.
To eligible status. Once you have the 10 million, you will be eligible to be producing any blocks at the blockchain. So the node is now already prepared as validator, and whenever you are elected, you can check it as a explore how it looks like, however you want to do it. Yeah, that's it to set up the validator itself.
Thank you very much, Maik, for that incredible demo. It was not only educative and pedagogical, but I think a source of knowledge for future validators. And thank you for sharing that with us. It was really, really, really well done. Just a little bit of a reminder. So if a validator candidate have the ability and know how to run a node, as well as hold enough KLV, what would you recommend them to do to get more involved as the next step?
The next step is for sure to learn enough about the system you're running and include your community. Speak with your community, share with them why it is needed to run your own validator. One of the points is we want to have a decentralized network. It's not good just to run validators from the foundation. It's good to have as much as possible nodes running or validators running from the community. So whenever, let's say, we have a huge outage in whatever state, we still have enough validators running to let the blockchain run and not stop at any point. or if you have not a good mission, let's say the data center have issues, so you should be prepared on the network as it jumps to the next mission. So get the community involved to support you as validator and to vote to as much validators as possible to get a stable network. And as more community is helping, as more the network is growing. So I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, just like you connect the nodes with each other, it is also important to connect the node communities to each other. So all the people that are involved in delegate their KLV to any node that is available. It's indeed also very important in social channels to keep each other posted for updates or what else that you want to talk about, to hold that connection between each other.
Amazing. And right now we've been in first internal testnet and then public testnet for well over a year, and 26 days away from mainnet launch. Testnets are made to be broken. They are made to break. So did we achieve this? And if so, did we fix the issues that broke?
Yeah, as explained in the previous minutes of the live, Maik had some scripts created to send transactions over and over to each other. In large speed or in slow speed, we can adjust how much transactions we're sending per block. That helped the team to find issues that we covered. And all those issues are solved by the amazing team of Sabrera and Yuri. And for now, if we load the transaction, then the script is running perfectly. And the test transactions that the foundation is doing for running over the testnet at the moment, you can see that also in the Explorer. They are pumping the network with 200 transactions per block. And there's also a sort of stress test for the nodes that are now currently elected or available to be elected, because every epoch there's a random selection of nodes. So it's not saying that you are always elected one time a day. It can also be that you have one day never been elected, but then you have 5 days elected 24 hours a day. So it's very randomly. It's not predefined who is waiting for the next epoch. It's pure random. And for now, as we see, and Maik can maybe confirm that, I see no issues in the transaction pool loads. And even if we're pumping the network with fake transactions, because we have also sometimes a script that is using a nonce number. So every transactions get a number, and every transaction, the nonce goes one up. It means how much transactions your wallet address has sent. And sometimes his script was too quick. So then we are sending a higher nonce than the wallet address has, and then you are sending fake transactions. Those transactions need to be cleared also in each epoch, in each block. There was also something in the beginning that was not cleaned up, but now every time we are sending a fake transaction, it is immediately go away. But I saw one community question, what the jailed status is meaning. Every node have all kind of status names, like elected, illegible, waiting, inactive, and jailed. Now, elected is very clear. When you are elected by the blockchain, then you are one of the 21 nodes that are accepting blocks, validating the blocks, and producing the blocks. Then you have illegible. So like Maik, his test node in this demo is now illegible. So it is valid to produce or accept or sign blocks. So in the switch of each epoch, he can now be selected as one of the 21. Then you have waiting. Waiting means that you have a validator node created with the 1.5 million KOV, but that you don't have yet enough delegations. So you are not yet at the 10 million KOV that you need at your node to be as a valid master node. And then you have, of course, the inactive. So that means that you don't have any validator nodes created, just only an address. and then you have the jailed one. Jailed one is not good to have, of course, but the reason you get jailed is when you are having not enough power in your machine to run the whole blockchain, and when there is a massive transaction mode, then your system is going down. It's all based on rating. So the max is, of course, 100%, and the lowest is 0. But if you are producing blocks of getting blocks assigned because you are now a validator and you are assigned to be elected, but you cannot handle the blocks, then you are being jailed after several times. You can miss one, you can miss two, but if you are continuously failing to produce the blocks, then you are being jailed. You have to see there's a sort of threshold in signing transactions. You have 21 validators that is running the blockchain, but when are more than 14 validators are signing the block and validating the block, then the block goes out. So there's always a sort of part between 15 and 21 nodes that are having maybe the option to be failing, and then you are getting jailed, and then you need to restart over again. So then it costs you again 10k KOV to be unjailed. And when you are unjailed, you are going to start over like just when you are creating the validator node.
Thank you, Matthias, for that very astute explanation. We have another community question from none other but than Isabella, who is asking, could you tell us more about the validator rewards, Mike?
Yeah, so rewards are shared based on the blocks you are creating. We have a standard reward of
15 KOV.
15 KOV
Per block.
Per block, exactly. And you are also getting a share out of the transactions within a block which you are creating. Let's say you have 200 transactions, and each transaction you have to pay, let's say, 2 KLV. So you would have a total of 800, 50% of them getting billed, and the other 50% getting shared to the validator, which is validating the block. And those rewards getting shared to the community. If you have 5% commission, the holder or the owner of the validator gets the 5%, and all the other 95% getting shared later to the community. And the rewards itself getting always distributed at the end of an epoch, not earlier.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's just talk a little bit more about, because you've been coined or named, Mike, as the Validator Ringleader by none other than our blockchain integration lead, Louis. And how does support operations for validators work, and where will current and future validators find support?
For me or for Mike?
I think Matthias will take this because Mike's
Mike is frozen.
Mike's internet connection has frozen once again. So Matthias, go ahead.
Yeah, can you repeat the last part of the question, because it was out?
Sorry, I am back. Okay.
Okay, go, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the question was about the support. No thing. The main support will be on Discord, where we have a good organization about the channels. So we have at the moment 2 testnet channel, one for all the general information about the testnet, and one about a general channel where we have all the discussions. So whenever you want to run a testnet node, just visit us at the Discord channel and ask whatever you want to ask, and I'm sure we can find a solution for whatever problem you have.
Yeah, and we have also in Discord an update channel, special for testnet. Later will also be a channel for mainnet. So every update, if there is a new config file or some other updates, we post it there. So you as a node validator are always up to date.
Fantastic. We have come to the finish line and the end of this extremely interesting live session. But let's start with you, Matthias. What excites you the most about Klever Chain and its upcoming launch? And then, of course, we'll take the same question.
Jump over. Yeah, the excited part of Klever Chain, what I said already in my introduction, is as I'm already 5 plus more years in Klever, from all at Klever, it's so funny and so exciting to have a piece of the new chain in my hands. So what I mean is I have from July 1 or later, it's just when they accept the new validators. I have 2 nodes running on the Klever chain, and the beauty is then you feel more like a part of the ecosystem. Like I'm already doing the support with my amazing support team, but to be in a technical base integrated in the Klever ecosystem, yeah, that excites me. I cannot wait to start. Yes, rather sooner than later, but it's better to do later because then all the bugs are fixed. We are relaxed, trained, ready to rumble.
Fantastic. Thank you, Matthias. What about you, Mike? What excites you the most about Klever Chain and its upcoming launch?
The most exciting thing is that we will see an absolutely new technology. We don't have the smart contracts, which whoever wants to program in, do it with not enough knowledge. And especially the last months, we had a lot of taking funds due to a lot of errors within the smart contracts. So everything will be built inside the blockchain, and you only have to retrieve them or call them through the API we have. So it brings a lot of more security. And I think with a lot more security, we will have absolutely different clientele at the end, which will use the blockchain, not only just some, let's say, average applications. If you have the safety and everything is secure, you can do, let's say, a bank thing or whatever contracts you want to run. An NFT, at the moment, we just see with pictures, but I see NFT more like a contract. Let's say you buy a house or you want to buy a car or whatever, but you can only
signal loss. Yeah,
I think we lost Mike's sound again. Let's hope he comes back.
Yeah, but the beauty of the Klever chain is that all the smart contracts, what you are now known as smart contract 1.0, is that you have to create your own smart contract for every project that is running. So each project needs to develop their own smart contracts every time over and over and over and over. That is expensive time because developers are not free, are expensive, especially now in these days with the crypto adoption, more developers are being asked. So when Klever chain, we have that built inside the Klever chain, so it is native. So if a project that wants to run on Klever chain don't have to spend any value or money or developers to create smart contracts. The use of staking, NFTs, marketplace, whatever you want or whatever you need, Klever builds it, and you know it is safe, it is secure, no backdoor. You can run all the features that you want in your project and spend more time into the project and the money in the project. I say a win-win.
A win-win-win, as we call it here in Klever. Just essentially to summarize what Matthias went over is smart contracts today are built on top of virtual machines. So they're essentially built on top of the blockchain. Instead, on Klever, they are built into the blockchain. And that is innovation and true innovation. Thank you so much, both Mike and Matthias, for coming today, preparing, sharing your knowledge, your expertise, your experience. And I think it was a very, very valuable session for both developers, for current and future validator candidates, and of course, for all of our users and audience. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It was a pleasure. And next week, we will be in Consensus 2022 in Austin. So if you're there or planning to be there, make sure to come and say hi. And until next time, remember that your only limit is you.
It's you.
Klever Swap is a decentralized way to trade your crypto right in the palm of your hand. Seamlessly exchange coins multi-chain with privacy, low fees, and unrivaled speed. You own your keys. In today's world of crypto, Klever Swap is simply magic at the click of a button.